Netflix raised their prices again. This time to $24, almost $25 for premium now. But can you tell me the last time you found something that was actually worth watching on Netflix? There's more shows than ever on Netflix, but we spend literally the entire time scrolling. When I go on Netflix, I just scroll through the titles. I go one by one by one, and then I just click out because there's nothing that's even interesting anymore. And the broader issue is this whole subscription thing.
I'd like to tell you about Netflix. It's an amazing service that lets you watch unlimited movies and TV episodes instantly. Best of all, Netflix is only $8 a month.
And the subscriptions don't even stop with Netflix. They don't stop with Netflix. They don't stop with Spotify. They start with cars. They go into fitness equipment. After I record this video, I'm probably gonna go on Netflix. I'm gonna scroll through Netflix. I'm gonna look around and say, maybe they put something that was finally worth watching, that I can create another great memory of just seeing an amazing show again. And I promise I'm gonna go through there, and about 2 minutes in, I'm gonna say there's nothing on here, and then I'm just gonna watch the regular thing that I would normally watch. Right now I'm watching The Rookie, but now I'm all caught up, so I'm running out of stuff to watch. So let me know if you know some things down in the comments. So I remember when Netflix used to be $7. I remember when they used to ship the DVDs out to you, and everything was so cheap, and it made so much more sense than buying a movie or even going to Blockbuster at that time because it was so much more convenient. They feel like it's a privilege to use their services. They feel like they're just entitled to your money. And they even got to the point where quality of Netflix shows, especially Netflix original shows, have just gone down. They're not even really producing anything great besides what do they got? Too Hot to Handle, Love is Blind, just toxic reality shows. But actual TV, actual scripted shows that, we know the reality shows are scripted, but you all get my point. Actual scripted TV shows, they're not even really producing. Even with Squid Games, that was buried in their algorithm and people just found it and it blew up. So also Netflix used to be sort of like an archive, sort of like a library, to where if you had a show that you loved that came out in 2020 or whenever it came out in 2005, a lot of those shows were on Netflix and a lot of those shows are leaving. So your comfort shows that you like to go on Netflix and watch years ago, they're leaving. People that love Breaking Bad is going to be off of Netflix in a couple years. So you're losing the nostalgia factor. You're not coming out with great shows that are new. What's going on here? And then my biggest problem right now with Netflix is not the price hike. It's not the selection. My biggest problem is the fact that they wanted to be greedy and they wanted to add on that you had to pay extra just to share your accounts across devices, across people. Listen, if a kid in college is going off to college, why can't they use their family's Netflix account? If a couple is bi-coastal, why can't they use each other's Netflix account? If I'm on a trip, why can't people use each other's Netflix account? It's been working all this time. And all this is doing is just causing Netflix to be more and more disliked. And I think people are going to start to slowly unsubscribe as this what are we going to be paying in 2 years for Netflix? $50? So this isn't all Netflix's fault. Part of it is that they have to compete with other streaming services like HBO Max, like Hulu, like Prime, like Stars, like everything else that we have been wrapped into, Paramount Plus, everything else that we've been just wrapped into these days. They have to compete with all of those things. So no wonder they're losing all these licenses, because not only do we have to choose between all of the titles that are on Netflix right now and worrying about having to lose the few titles that we actually go back to over and over again, we also have to worry about that title moving over to another subscription service, and to watch that show, to watch that movie, you have to subscribe to an entirely new subscription service. And with all of these platforms, you're faced with paralysis by analysis. It's not easy to make a choice, and you just end up choosing nothing. And when you have to make all of these extra decisions in a time where you're supposed to be unwinding to sit back and watch a Netflix show or sit back and watch something on any streaming service, it is not good for us, because this is our time to unwind. And we're using a ton of brain power, exhausting ourselves, trying to figure out what to watch. And even outside of streaming services, it's not even as easy enough to go buy clothes anymore. You can't just go to the mall. You can't just go to the store where you can. But guess what? What about when those reports come out where they say, listen, all of those clothes that you're buying, all those clothes you're buying from H&M, they're poisoning you.
Oh yeah, those clothes that you're buying from H&M, not only are they poisoning you, they're poisoning your family, they're destroying the environment, and they're destroying the entire community.
guess what? When those things come out, oh, I can't go to H&M. Well, maybe I should go here. Oh, well, the same thing's happening there. Oh, maybe I should go to this other place. But I can't afford to spend $300 on a t-shirt because it's made out of, this high quality cotton that, these 17 children who have never said a curse word in their life put together. All of these decisions are so difficult in our life, whether it's finding a show to watch, picking out clothes, buying a car, because not only in this day and age are we having to decide which one we like the best, we're also having to decide which one doesn't actually take us off the planet before we need to be off the planet. And then also which one isn't like taking someone else off the planet or exploiting somebody else. And at that point, I just think you should probably just pick the one that's the best for you. But those are all things that you have to consider. And while you're going through these decisions, like maybe going out and buying a car, when you go to the car, make sure that all of the features of your car actually work. Because guess what? A lot of these features are hidden behind paywalls in your actual car that you spent $40,000, that you spent 50, 60, 70, 100, 200,000. A lot of times buying a $200,000 car isn't enough for these companies. They got you in their own financing where you're paying them every month. That's not enough. They also want you to sign up for a subscription service for simple things like heated seats. For heated seats and a car that you spent premium dollars for, you got to pay for a subscription. And the Lexus that I had, I was so excited when I bought it. When I got home, I was like, I'm happy. Like, I got the app. I'm excited. Now let me start this thing up from the app. Let me, I see so many people starting their cars up from apps, and let me start my car up using my app. And I pull out my phone, I download the app, I get everything synced up, and then it tells me to start this car using your app, you've got to pay $24. I forgot what it was, but it was something I was absolutely not going to pay a month just to start my car remotely. And again, those features, like starting your car remotely, I think some of it is even using things like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. They hide all these things behind paywalls, people. You got to pay to use everything. I remember during the heart of 2020 when everybody was going through it, everybody went out and bought a Peloton. Now I didn't. I didn't buy a Peloton. Listen, I was just getting out of college. I wasn't going to spend, nobody has Peloton money like that. But anyway, a lot of professional people went out and bought Pelotons because they wanted to stay in shape. To use your Peloton, not just to take a class online or have it track this or have it tell you how many times you fart during each workout. To use your Peloton, you have to pay a monthly fee to pedal on the bike that you paid for. To pedal on the stationary bike that you own in full, you have to pay a subscription. How does that make any sense? How? If you're not ready to spend $1 million on a Peloton and then pay them $40-something a month, then you basically just paid for an expensive clothes hanger because that's all you're going to be able to use your bike for. So listen, I need you all to look through your subscriptions, look through your phone, look at your bank statements, and look at the subscriptions that you have and just think like, are these people really getting over on me? Because a lot of times they are. A lot of times we're paying subscriptions for things that we literally don't even care about. Sometimes I just look at things like, for instance, there was like an emulator that I bought on my phone to play old school Pokemon because my mother never let me get a Game Boy Advance. She felt like, I can't walk around all day playing a Game Boy Advance as a kid. So I didn't get to play that. I went and downloaded that on my phone. I downloaded an emulator. I'm playing Pokemon, boom, boom, boom. And I'm thinking $3.99 a month for an emulator. That's not bad. That's cool. But then I look and it's $3.99 a week. And then I see it's like $24 to purchase it. And at that point, it makes more sense to just buy the emulator for $24. Now, did I purchase it? No. I just went ahead and deleted the whole thing. But you all get the point. If you have an option to purchase something and it makes a lot more sense than paying for it every month, just go ahead and buy it. Just go ahead and buy it so you can own it. And hopefully it's something that they're not going to then double back and try to charge you for later on. Because we honestly live in a payments world. We live in a world of credit card payments, subscription payments, all types of payments that we're just paying on top of no jobs, on top of low salaries, on top of inflation.
I've had it with this dump. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off!
On top of not being able to afford a lot of things our predecessors were able to afford. My printer has literally been sitting for a year because I have to pay a subscription to use the printer. I have to pay a subscription to use the printer that I paid for. Avoid subscriptions at all costs, because as you see, Netflix is only getting more and more emboldened that people are just, it's like if you're moving something and you're pushing a line and you're like, oh, they don't care. Like, I'm just raising the price again. They don't care. You know, as you start to do that and you see that nobody cares, Netflix is just going to keep on raising the price. So avoid everything that you don't use at all costs, or everybody, all of these subscription companies are going to be charging an arm and a leg. So as people like me are navigating adulthood, specifically your 20s, subscriptions are just another thing. Netflix is just another hurdle that we have to deal with. And for more on navigating these challenges, check this video out here, or here, or here. I don't know where it is.